Shazad, first of all, amazing job on this film. The screen life format is just so immersive, and it's so hard to take your eyes off of, mainly because it's something that we do all the time, and it's such a great, it's such a great tool to use for film. But let's talk about Bilal for a second. Who is Bilal?
Bilal, I mean, yeah, he's a he's some kind of charming dude. He's an ISIS recruiter. He's seducing young women to try and get them over there. Yeah, it's a kind of a crazy character to try and even take on or even begin to tackle. But I think we had such a good base with Anna's book, and we got to see Skype conversations between them. So so you knew how he spoke to her, how the patterns he did to sort of try and get in there. I saw videos of him, how he held himself, how he behaved. So yeah, we had a little base, and we sort of got to a lot of freedom to sort of improvise and write stuff, and it was a very sort of creative process to try and bring him to life. Yeah.
Now you had stated that when you saw the videos, he's obviously he's dangerous because of what he does, but there's a childlike quality to him. Can you talk about that a little bit?
That's one of the main things I think that we were using to draw in not just Val but the whole audience, is that there's this childlike sensibility, this that you want to hang around this guy. He's doing all these human things. He's right. Playing football. He's cooking curry with her. He's doing all these with cats and feeding milk to these little kittens. And it's so many. You go, oh, this guy's kind of nice. And then when he talks about home, you're drawn in, and it's playing with that line of how much is he actually miss home, or does he not at all? Or does it's leaving it up to the audience, and the audience just creates this whole thing in their head. I think that's sort of what we tried to create.
And that's exactly what you accomplished, because there's times where I'm empathizing with Bilal in his situation, and even when he talks on the phone to the person at the candy shop, and I'm like, whoa, like it humanizes the character in a lot of ways. But I want to talk about the collaboration process with your director Tamar for a second, and I know that the rehearsal process was pretty intense, but the collaboration process, I just want to talk about that for a second. How was it collaborating with him?
He's he's a genius. He's just so forward thinking. I mean, even to predict, when to release this film is kind of, he sort of knew somehow that, but he's always just got so many ideas, so many things. He's so in the moment that he'll try things out. And he just gave us, the actors, so much confidence to sort of, not many directors say, go and write a scene for the movie, don't worry about it.
Right.
Or like, go and try this out, or go to give the actors that confidence is one of the main things you can do, I think, for allowing us to sort of be free. And when someone says go and improvise out that scene where I take her around the house and lie down and show her around the house, he just said, why don't you try this out? Why don't you try this out? And that's a big sort of skill that he has. And then not to mention him in the editing room and his ideas for sound and using this and making it interactive and all. He's just a pretty genius guy. And yeah, I think the main thing was he was willing for us to help him out. It wasn't like him telling us what to do all the time. It was, hey, how are we going to make this better? And we all just sort of did it,
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. You guys, you and Valine both wrote a scene for the film, and yours was the backstory about Bilal a little bit, or a backstory about Bilal, which ended up in the film. Can you talk to me about that process and how you decided upon that?
Well, yeah, I mean, we were working with Brit's great script, and obviously we had the verbatim Skype conversations in there, but we wanted something. Yeah, we were trying to think of Timur wanted something to humanize him a little bit, and Olga, the producer, said, why don't you go home? We just need you to write a little scene or something, come up with something, and then I just remembered, I went home and I just remembered I used to do this thing where I would eat loads of sugary sweets, but I'd just keep the sugar. It was a true thing. That was something I used to do. And I just sort of changed it into what Bilal, did. And then, we came up with the curry scene as well. I was like, when they cook something together. And I think, yeah, me and Val, we both just wrote little bits, and then the improvising around it, but also, still using Brit's unbelievable script and just, the basis of their conversations and that they actually had.
Incredible. Now, in this film, unlike a lot of other films, you're your own cinematographer. So can you talk to me about that process a little bit? And because I can only imagine how it's just, when I was watching the film, two things happened. One, I thought, how are they possibly doing this? This is crazy. And the second, I thought, I didn't even think, I just completely, it was almost like this voyeuristic thing where I was watching these two people have a relationship over a course of time, which was so fascinating to me. But can you talk to me just about the cinematography part? Because,
well, yeah, I mean, I was thinking is back then I had an old style phone myself, so it was very new to me to be even holding an iPhone. I was like, shit, am I going to be able to do this for like 9 days? But yeah, in a sense, it gave us, look, because we were the DOPs basically, it gave us a sense of, it gave us lots of freedom because we weren't waiting around for lighting rigs, or we weren't waiting, for setups, which is the main thing that takes up most of the time on a set. So we had so much time to just do take after take after take. And then, just obviously it takes time to get used to like making sure your face is in the camera, or, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think it freed us up a little bit, and it just gave us confidence to say that we could try things out here.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Let's dive into the character of Bilal for a second. Now, Anna Errol's book, In the Skin of a Jihadist, how much did that help inform your performance? And what did you learn from that book that you were able to take into your performance?
I think it was just, mining that book, reading it, over and over, and just taking anything she mentions about, because that's how you find out what she felt about him and what she was feeling, and just taking all those things, adjectives, what he's like, and then seeing their Skype, like I was saying before, seeing how he spoke to her in those conversations was such a key element to try and build that character. And then seeing these couple of videos, knowing how he held himself. We actually matched one of those shots where he's looking at the machine gun in the thing. That was an actual video that we had of him. So it's like, it was, and he was very childlike. He's this sort of, obviously he was a French, Arab guy, and we moved it to, London, Pakistani guy, but yeah, it just those things as the basis was so key, and then sort of putting my own spin on it, and that was sort of the dream sort of process, really.
Now, how much of Bilal did, or let me rephrase this question: what did you want to bring to Bilal that may have not necessarily been on the page?
Well, I think we wanted to, that the sort of increasing that charm and just that sort of fun, because it just sort of happened when me and Val would start to improvise. There was we could just go certain places that, they're making the curry together or whatever, because he did mention about cooking food together. It might be one of these tactics that they do. So we thought, okay, well, what would that be like? Would he enjoy doing that? Or is he enjoying doing it? Or is he faking it? There's so many layers to everything. But again, allowing the audience to sort of make that decision is sort of what you want for the film, really.
Now, you and Val have amazing chemistry in this film. And the crazy thing is, you really get to see it explored within the course of the film. Can you talk to me? Because did you only meet virtually for this film?
So when we were filming, it was all filmed live on Skype over 9 days. We were in separate places, but we did rehearse for a week together, very intense,
Oh, wow.
7 days where we sort of broke down the script, went through everything, just, trying to sort of ask the right questions. And then I was off to Cyprus we did 3 days in Bethnal Green in Hackney, and then Val stayed in London. I went off to Cyprus, and it was filmed live. Yeah, filmed over Skype.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, luckily we just were two actors that, sometimes you get two actors who sort of work the same way, and we just wanted to make it the best we could make it. And so it doesn't always happen like that. There's different ways of working, different processes, but we sort of just said, we have to go for this. It's 9 days. We just have to make this the best we can make it. And again, because we did have time to do take after take, or wanted to try this, Timur and Olga, the producer, gave us so much time and freedom.
Now, with Val, I want to ask, what was it? What did she bring to the role that may have surprised you?
Well, I think the whole thing was a surprise, because, you get there and you don't know what to expect when the screen comes on, because we're filming it live. You're just going for these takes, and then you're in character. So it's like everything was a surprise. She's amazing. She's got incredible range. She can do everything. So it's like, I wasn't worried about, we both weren't worried about trying stuff. We said, look, should we try this? Should we just improvise? When someone says improvise a whole scene around a house, it's quite scary normally, but for this, it was we sort of knew the character so well that when you do know it that well, then it's fun. And then you can just let go. And she's got that quality about her anyway. So it was a very, true filmmaking, guerrilla filmmaking experience. You rarely get that. I don't think I'll have it the same way ever again,
Oh, man. Well, last question I have for you is, look, I'm a big Star Trek Discovery fan, and I have to ask, is Ash Tyler's story done, or will we be seeing him again in New Worlds?
I have no idea, actually. I'm still waiting. I've heard hints of things, but I don't know for sure. I'm just waiting on the call. It's all about timings, really. I suppose I just have to wait to see about schedules with everyone else. So, I mean, that's all I know. I don't really know much more. I spoke to Ethan Petlier the other day. He's good. He's doing well.
Well, look, thank you so much for your time. The film's amazing, man. It's truly immersive. I love the film. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you, man.
I appreciate it.